Good evening and welcome to Vsb News Online for Friday, March the 20th. I'm Charles Webb. Today was decision day for hundreds of Bermudians employed by the Bermuda government on temporary contracts. In a move to achieve meaningful cost savings after being turned down by the unions over the furlough renewal contract, Finance Minister Bob Richards has ordered the freezing of all temporary contracts unless they are deemed critical. Vsb News understands that after-school program staff will find out by the end of today if their contracts have been terminated, and next week it will be the turn of social workers and the like. A Cabinet Office spokesperson confirmed the move in a statement read for us by VSB's Brian Darby.
The government has confirmed that a hiring freeze with exemptions is in effect, which means that only those posts deemed most critical to the delivery of public services will be filled. In addition, the government confirms that temporary relief workers, those persons who are filling vacant posts on a temporary basis, will conclude service when their temporary contracts reach term. Temporary additional workers, those persons who are filling temporary additional posts which are not substantive but were added to the organization on a temporary basis, will conclude service when their temporary contracts reach term. Wherein any of the temporary posts are deemed critical to the delivery of public services, these contracts may be extended. The government has also reintroduced its voluntary early retirement incentive program for officers who have attained the age of 55 to 64 years of age, or who have completed 25 years of service for those in the uniformed services. Senior technical officers are now working with their management teams to determine innovative schemes to ensure that the public services continue to be delivered. In instances where the staff reduction impacts service delivery, the public will be advised accordingly. The government will continue to work with those union partners to ensure that the resultant job enrichment and job enlargement opportunities are made available to public officers in a manner that is fair and in the best interests of all parties. As a final note, a hiring freeze is one of the several measures considered a reasonable means of realizing cost savings, as agreed with the leadership of the Bermuda Trade Union Congress. Brian Darby reporting for VSB News.
Shadow Youth, Sports, Community and Cultural Minister Michael Weeks lambasted the government for freezing the contracts of social workers in a hard-hitting statement today, saying that they played a critical role in these times of need for so many families. But Minister Pat Gordon-Pamplin came back swinging.
The reality is that we have a situation in which there was a hodgepodge method put together under the former administration respecting social workers and their impact on the system to ensure that our children are looked after. Most of those workers who have been brought in are on call with temporary positions. They have never put together a structure that allowed the civil service to create the necessary environment to make sure that our young people are taken care of. That is our sensitivity. What has now happened is that the whole structure of temporary workers has been under scrutiny as a result of the hiring freeze. What we are now attempting to do is to ensure that working with the Cabinet Office to ensure that those positions that are critical are fulfilled such that our children are not left at a disadvantage.
So should there be this sort of alarm that we now hear going through the community?
No, there should not be. I believe that this is politics at its worst, and I believe that, what we need to do, I think, have the Shadow Minister called me if he were indeed interested in determining what's happening with our young people, as he professes. He could have easily called me and we could have had this conversation offline. I think that this sensationalism does nothing for the community, and I think that we have to steer away from it, because we are trying to clean up a tremendous mess that we inherited, and I think the time has come for us to work together on this.
Bermuda civil rights activist Dr. Edgar Fitzgerald Gordon was honored on the steps of the City Hall today as family, patrons, dignitaries, and bystanders came to pay tribute to a man who, though not born here, fought to pave the way for the rights of all Bermudians. Leading the noonday tributes was the mayor of Hamilton, Graham Outerbridge.
From politics to medicine, race relations to union formation, it was Dr. Gordon who blazed a trail that reached so many corners of our Bermuda community in the first half of the 20th century. And on behalf of my fellow members and the entire staff of the Corporation of Hamilton, I celebrate with you all here today as we reflect on a great man and his contributions that paved the way for so many of us today. And some of the same questions are still with us and still have to be dealt with. The price of inequality, and what kind of society do we all want, and how we pay our way and how we take care of one another. Looking back on this man's life, the questions asked then can be asked of every generation that has come after, and we have to continue to look for fairness in our community.
St. George Deputy Mayor Quinnell Francis is setting her sights on the top job in the old town, mayor. And having put her hat in the ring, she's already started canvassing in preparation for nomination day on April 16th, followed by the election on May the 7th.
The number one would be to have public consultation with the community to find out exactly how we feel about the town cart and a cruise ship, because we need to make a decision on if we want a cruise ship, there are modifications that are going to be needed to the town cart, or if we don't want a cruise ship, then we need to decide how we want to go forward and utilize our harbor front.
Now, there's been this talk of cruise ships for some time. Has there any consideration been given to finding some of the smaller vessels?
To my knowledge, there is very limited smaller vessels, and they are just here for a one-off rather than a regular visit. So in order for us to capitalize on the market that's willing to come to Bermuda, we would need to look at the larger ships, which at current can come through the town cart as is. So modifications will need to be done.
Now, what about an hotel?
Well, the hotel would be lovely to have on the heel of, unfortunately, that's outside the corporation's remit because it's government's property. But we hope that the government will be working with us once they have an agreement with the developers so that we can know what's actually going on top of the hill. And hopefully we'll be able to see some sort of construction in the near future.
Now, there's a feeling that St. Georgians don't seem to have it together. Is there any way you could sort of morph these people together so that you could all be singing from the same hymnal?
Well, there are quite a large number of groups in the town, and everyone's singing what they want to sing, and I agree that we need to come together, and that's one of the things that I am looking forward to doing, is actually bridging the gap between our residential community, our business community, and the charities that are also in the town, so that we can all be singing from one page, and that everybody will be able to utilize each other, because we are a living community, a historic town, and the businesses can definitely capitalize on the living residential community that's there. So if we can sort of make that balance, I think the town can thrive on its own without having just to rely on visitors.
And we'll be back with more news right after this.
The Marketplace Food Court is you and your family's one-stop shop. Start your day at the Breakfast Bar with omelets made to order and traditional Bermuda codfish breakfast. The chefs will cook lunch and dinner to your liking. Along with the salad bar, sandwich bar, sushi bar, and fruit bar, the Marketplace Food Court is your kitchen away from home. Every day is hassle-free with nutritious meals from the Marketplace Food Court. Visit us 7 days a week. Homemade cooking, quality service, all at prices you can count on.
Former Bermuda Premier Dr. Ewart Brown had the personal enjoyment of having his family help him unveil his portrait at the Cabinet Office this afternoon before an audience of admiring friends, colleagues led by Premier Michael Dunkley and former Premier Sir John Swan. In his typical style, Dr. Brown had them rolling in the aisles.
The artwork, I mean, it speaks for itself. But let me tell you a story. My life is never simple. I was asked to get my portrait in order. This was 2 years plus ago. And I said, I don't know who I can get to do it, because I didn't like, quite honestly, what I saw in the Cabinet Office. Why didn't I like it? Not just because I wanted to be contrary, but I saw pictures of people who were not yet dead look dead. And I said, no need to push that envelope. We can do that later. But as long as I'm living, my artwork is going to reflect that I'm living. Lo and behold, I get an email. From Jay Keynes. and it says, "Dear Dr. Brown, I am a young Bermudian, and I am an artist. I would like to have an opportunity to paint your portrait." Put the ball back in his court, so I reached him and I said, "Are you ready to do it? Can you really do it? Can I see some of your work, etc.?" "Yes, no problem," but didn't see any portraits. And I said, "Okay, go for it." Ladies and gentlemen, a hand for a young Bermudian.
Under the chairmanship of Eugene Dean, Earth Hour is once again being presented by the Green Rock Environmental Organization at City Hall on Saturday, March the 28th. It brings us up to date on the purpose of the project, during which lights will be turned off voluntarily across the island for 1 hour, and hundreds will walk the darkened streets of Hamilton carrying torches.
Earth Hour this year, again, it's a campaign, so we're encouraging people to switch the lights off on Saturday, March 28th, between 8:30 and 9:30 p.m. And that's to show their support for the campaign. And the campaign is to raise awareness about the harmful effects of climate change and encourage us all to live more sustainably or create a more sustainable future for Bermuda. So one of the main features of what we're doing, or the opportunity we're creating, the event we're creating for people to participate in, is this Glow Fund, this 5K Glow Fund walk and run through the darkened streets of Hamilton. So, and Ashley is the race director, so she can give you some more details about the race. Yeah.
Before we go to Ashley, how much of a success was it last year?
Well, I think the campaign has been growing on an annual basis. More and more people are aware of Earth Hour and what it's about, and ultimately that's what it is. The point is to raise awareness and help people to be more conscientious about our use of the world's resources. I think all of us recognize that we're using the world's resources at a rapidly increasing rate. Actually, we're using resources as if they're finite, but we do have limits. And these are the things that we're having to come to terms with these days. So, we feel good about what we've done. We've been dealing with Earth Hour since 2008 in Bermuda, so it's been a number of years, and we're just looking to continue to build on that momentum. And this year our focus has been on collaboration. The Earth Hour Council has been in place for a few years, but we've actually added more people to the team. And so we recognize in order for this to really be a success, then it's going to take the whole country adopting it, so that's our approach.
The Salvation Army today took possession of a brand new 9-seater Toyota van, thanks to the generosity of the Bank of Bermuda Foundation, whose Managing Director David Lang made the presentation at the Army's Roberts Avenue headquarters. Divisional Commander Frank Pittman accepted the keys to the response unit and promptly handed them over to Community Social Services Ministries Director Lionel Cann.
I have here the key to the new community service vehicle that you will see behind us, and the Salvation Army is going to receive this key on behalf of Bank of Bermuda Foundation. We paid for this community service vehicle a long time ago. The original one that arrived in Bermuda was too big, was not allowed to be licensed, was shipped off the island. This is an ongoing saga, so it's with a great pleasure that I give Major Pittman this key and say, get going.
Thank you. On behalf of the Salvation Army in Bermuda, it is my privilege to accept this key from Bank of Bermuda Foundation, to accept this van with deep appreciation, and we have every confidence that it's going to be used to help and assist many people in the years to come. Thank you very much. And it is my privilege now to present this key to Mr. Lionel Cann, who is the director of our street ministry program and community services. And God bless you. And may this key and van be well used to minister to people.
You can be sure it will be well used.
All the way from the beaches of Cornwall, England, has come professional sand artist Tony Plant, and it will be his task to train residents in producing the sand paintings that will delight so many on Saturday, March the 28th, on beaches spread across the island. With free classes starting tomorrow afternoon at Horseshoe Bay, Mr. Plant spoke to VSB News about the Bermuda Beach Art Festival.
I live in Cornwall on the north coast, and it's pretty much the last bit of land on the UK points towards Bermuda, so we pick up a lot of the weather that you've had. A little sort of second hand. 3 or 4 days later it arrives on our doorstep and sculpts the beaches and shapes the sandbanks and creates the spaces that I make my work in. So I've been looking at this festival, the Bermuda Sound Art Festival, for a number of years. I've seen it online and
watched it
grow and been interested and been keen to be involved, and so this is kind of a really good exciting opportunity for me to get involved.
What's the attraction
of
doing what you do?
I can't imagine not doing what I do. It's just I'm a painter, so I'm always looking for surfaces which are defined by the edges, so the shapes of the space that I work on. If it was a canvas, it would be the shape of the canvas. If it's a beach, it's the shape of the beach. So that's the attraction. Just I'm interested in what might happen if I try something. I'm not necessarily interested in, not overly concerned in what it looks like. What it looks like is what I'm interested in. I'm interested in seeing, exactly, just seeing what comes out of being involved. And that's why these kind of festivals are exciting, because it can invite and involve the public and people that maybe don't necessarily get the opportunity or don't feel that they can draw anything bigger than a small piece of paper. There's not many opportunities to draw big, to work big, and with beach art you can't really get it wrong. So just turn up on a beach and get involved, and you can be involved in a huge picture, and you can't get it wrong. But even if you did, but you can't, but even if you did, but you really can't, the tide will take it away anyway, and you can try again tomorrow. So it's just a great way of getting the people involved, and kids understand it instantly. Little tackers just get it instantly. It doesn't need to be explained to them, they get it. But I think you've got to explain to people like us. But come along and choose your favourite beach and see what happens.
And now it's time for VSB News Sports Report with Earl Baston.
Last night was a big night in sports in Bermuda, as a spot for the FA Cup final was up for grabs. A spot for the Digicel National Squash title is up for grabs in both male and female. The Bermuda School Sports Federation held their middle school track and field championships, where it saw 5 records set, as well as the day 1 of the Schroeder's Spring Championships. To the top story, at the BAA field last night, the Dandytown Hornets went in front of the Somerset Trojans when Angelo Simmons scored in their semifinal match. Somerset Trojans drew level with a goal from Taj Wade. With some 18 minutes remaining, Jatino Richardson Martin finished off a good build-up from the Dandytown Hornets as they advanced to the FA Challenge Cup final with a 2-1 win over the Somerset Trojans. In the nightcap, in the 9th minute, Ralph Bean Jr. gave the North Village Rams the lead against the Flanagan's Onions when he scored from close range. However, Nathan Paskett equalized for the Flanagan's Onions midway through the first half. In the 74th minute, the Premier Division leading league goal scorer Keston Lewis gave the Flanagan's Onions the lead, which proved to be the winner as the Flanagan's Onions advanced to the FA Challenge Cup final with a 2-1 win over the North Village Rams. At the Bermuda Squash Rackets Association Club last evening, the 2015 Digicel National Squash Championships semi-finals took place. In the Ladies Open semifinals, the defending champion Runa Retta defeated Susie Lacey 11-5, 11-3, 11-3, while Laura Robinson defeated Rachel Barnes 11-6, 11-6, 14-12. In the men's semifinal, Patrick Foster defeated Noah Brown 11-4, 7-11, 11-8, 3-11, 12-10, and the defending champion Micah Franklin went down to Kristen Johnson 12-10, 8-11, 9-11, 11-6, 11-7. So the finals for the ladies will see the defending champion Runa Retta take on Laura Robinson, while Patrick Foster and Kristen Johnson will battle in the men's final. The Bermuda School Sports Federation hosted the Middle School Track and Field Championship finals at the National Sports Center yesterday. In total, 2 records were tied and 3 were set. Sakeisha Parsons, representing T.N. Tatum, equaled the under-12 girls' 200-meter record time, clocking 26:19. Dalwood Middle School student Kirby Thomas equaled the under-13 boys' long jump record with a leap of 5.77 meters. Clavante Lodge, representing Whitney Institute Middle School, set a new under-13 boys' 400-meter record time of 57:60. Ashley Irby, representing Salters Grammar School, set a new over 13 girls 1,500-meter record when she crossed the line in a time of 5:07.60. Zakiah Lewis leaped 5.17 meters on her way to setting a new over 13 girls long jump record while representing Salters Grammar School. The 2014-15 School Rugby Championships for high school and middle schools took place at the Salters Grammar School field yesterday. Cedar Bridge Academy won the high school division for the second time in 4 years with a closely fought 5-0 victory over Bermuda Institute. San Secondary Middle School won the middle school division 30-15 over Salters in a dominating performance. Day one of the 2015 Schroeder Spring Championships took place at the Bassett Pool last evening. Elin Daly won the girls 10 and under 400-meter freestyle, touching the wall in a time of 5:22.84. Taylor White finished second in a time of 5:58.90, and Caris Knox finished third in a time of 6:02.74. Elijah Daly, during the boys 10 and under 400-meter freestyle, touched the wall first in a time of 5:49.97. Tommy Washer was second with a recorded time of 6:40.08. And Adriano Raymond Lipinski finished third in a time of 7:07.85. During the 13-14 girls 800-meter freestyle, Emma Harvey touched the wall first in a time of 9:47.49. Ashley Irby was second in a time of 10:04.66, and Megan Lau was third in a time of 10:13.74. Staying with swimming on day 3 of the Speedo Sectional Championships in Florida, Lisa Blackburn, competing in the women's 200 long course meter breaststroke, finished with the 11th fastest preliminary time of 2:43.82. The ITF 14 World Junior Tennis North, Central American, and Caribbean pre-qualifying tournament continued in the Dominican Republic, playing in the boys 14 9th through 16th place playoff. Bermuda defeated Honduras 3-0. Tego Bean saw action for the first time. He defeated his opponent in straight sets 6-1, 6-2. Richard Mallory defeated his opponent playing in the second game 6-2, 6-2 as Bermuda took a 2-0 lead. Bean and Benjamin Lines wrapped up the match with a 6-2, 6-love doubles win over their opponents. I'm Earl Basden reporting for VSB Sports.
And now for the weather, Saturday, March the 21st. It will be mostly cloudy with rain and showers and isolated afternoon thunder. Winds will be southerly, moderate to strong, increasing strong by midday, with gusts to gale force in showers, varying westerly, moderate to strong by evening. The high will be near 69 and the low near 62. Thanks for watching VSB News Online for Friday, March the 20th. I'm Charles Webb. Have a great weekend.